Hello and welcome to today's mobility session. This is our Hello Strength Seniors mobility session. It's going to be 20 to 30 minutes of gentle movement designed for seniors, but anyone is welcome. So if you're ready, all you need is your body, a yoga mat or a comfortable carpet, and maybe something to hold on to for balance like a wall or a chair. So we'll get started with our first exercise today. This is going to be for shoulder mobility, and we're going to do a CAR, which stands for controlled articular rotation. And to do this, we're just going to stand with our hands straight out in front of us. My feet are just about a few inches apart, and I'm going to make a really big, slow, intentional circle with my shoulders. I'm going up, back, down, and forward, really focusing on taking my time and trying to get as much of a smooth circle as I can. We're going to do one more, and then we're going to reverse this movement. So now go ahead and go up, forward, down, back, and repeat that range of motion. This is one of the few times when you're allowed to shrug up your shoulders and then drop them back down, working that shoulder through a full range of motion with this circle. Last one, and rest. Very good. For our second exercise, we're going into a little hip mobility with a leg swing. This is one where you'll want some balance support with your fingertips, gently resting on a wall or a chair. And then I'm going to keep my right foot on the ground if I'm balancing with my right hand on the wall. And then I'm just going to gently swing my leg up and back as far as is comfortable without drastically moving my torso. I'm not rocking forward or backward. I'm just swinging that leg. Now we're going to stay on this side and turn and face whatever you're using to balance. And now we're going to do side to side. Your range of motion doesn't need to be as big as mine. Just stay within whatever is comfortable. Last one. And then we'll repeat on the other side. So we don't do too many of these. So really see what range of motion you can comfortably get. Again, not moving the torso, really keeping that movement isolated in the hip. Last one. And then turning to face your balance point, letting that leg go in front and out to the side. One more. And rest. Very good. All right, and then our last one is going to be for the wrists. We're going to do some wrist circles. So you can just stand with your feet a couple inches apart and your hands right about here. And then just like with the shoulders, you're going to think about moving your wrists through a full range of motion. There can be a few parts that might feel kind of sticky in that range of motion, so take your time, do your best to get a full circle. And the key to that is not going too fast. All right, now we're going to go the other direction. You might notice that going one way is a little bit harder for your brain. It's good to challenge that coordination a little bit as well. Driving those circles, maybe thinking about your thumbs to help get a big circle. Last one. And rest. Good. Alrighty, that's our first circuit. So we'll do each of these three exercises for one more time. So we're going to go back to those shoulder CARs, which are our circles. When you're ready, going at your own pace. Nice, slow control, really trying to squeeze every centimeter out of that circle that you can by lifting up, back, down, or whichever direction you started with. We'll do each direction, taking your time, standing nice and tall. And now reverse. You can think about this in the shoulder, or if it kind of helps you to watch your hands and think about them going in a circle, as long as that circle is still driven by your shoulders. One more. And rest. Very good. All right, then we're back to our leg swings. So choosing your favorite side to start on, I'll give you a moment to get there, resting your fingertips on the wall, thinking nice tall thoughts with an engaged core, and then swinging that leg forwards and backwards. Just letting kind of that natural end point be found with your forward and backward swing. And rest, then turn for the side to side. Maybe seeing if you can get a little more lift the second time through, but don't force it. One more. Very nice. And then turn and face the other way for leg swings on the other side. And really making sure that you're not forcing it, but staying in a comfortable range of motion. One more. And then going for the side to sides. Make sure to keep breathing. Might feel a little bit of leg engagement on these. You'll get to rest during the wrist circles. Last one. And rest. Very good. And then catch your breath, make your fists, and get ready for our wrist circles. Pick whichever direction you want to go in first. And really nice and smooth. You might get a few crackles. That's totally okay as long as there's not any pain associated with it. Just try to make that nice, smooth circle. Might be able to identify where that kind of weak point is and just work through it. And now other direction. Reversing whichever way you just went. This way feels a little bit less natural than the other. That's always the case for one side or one direction. Last one. And rest. Good. Alrighty, already done with your first circuit. And our second one is going to be on the floor. So make your way there. And we're going to start off lying on your back. So find a nice comfortable position, just resting with your knees bent and your feet just a couple inches away from your butt. And then have your hands just resting on your core. We're going to do heel slides for this. So it's going to be a little bit of hip flexor mobility and some core engagement. And what we're going to do is think about pushing the spine down into the ground. You should feel a little tension in your core as you do this, and your hips rocking into a little bit of a posterior pelvic tilt. And then keeping that engagement, I'm going to just slide one heel out until I have a straight leg, and then bring it back in. We're going to alternate legs, other side. Should get a teeny bit harder to breathe during this since our abs are engaged. It's harder to get a full breath. So just focus on breathing, but also maintaining that little bit of tension. It's not a huge amount. Maybe just 25 to 30% of like a full tense brace. And then straighten out that leg, let the hip flexor extend, and bring it back in. We get our last one on each side. Really taking your time in and out. Reach and draw back in. Very good. Alrighty, for our second one, we're just gonna flip over onto our side and then have the knees bent and the feet bent back a little bit, or you can have them out at 90 degrees, whichever is fine. And then I'm gonna have my arms straight out in front of me. And then I'm gonna just do some opening all the way. I run into the wall, but let your arm drop as far as you can towards the other side, following it with your eyeballs. And back. If that irritates the neck at all, you can leave your head stationary and just open and close. You can even have your head resting on a pillow, open and close, or even feel free just to keep your gaze looking forward. Open and close. One more for this side. Open and close. Very good. All right, you can roll or flip over to get the other side. Finding that same starting position. Knees are bent and tucked up. And then hands are just straight out in front of you. And then we're opening and closing. Open and close. And that option to follow your hand with your eyeballs. You can have your head on the ground. You can have it slightly lifted. Really just depends on your body and what feels good today. If your neck's a little tight, it might feel nice to keep it on the floor. Open and close one more time. Open and close. Very good. Alrighty. Then we're just going to go back to laying on your back with your knees bent for our last one. And we're going to do a glute bridge with a hold. So lots of hip flexor extension in this one. We're just going to have our hands down by our side. And to start this last exercise, we're going to again do that posterior pelvic tilt by pushing the spine into the ground. And then lift up as high as you can and come back down. Lifting up maybe to that full hip extension. Back down, lift up, and down at a really controlled pace, really focusing on getting to that hip extension if we can. We'll do 2 more, and then on this last one, we're gonna lift up and hold for 5 seconds. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come back down. And rest. Very good. That's our first time through that circuit. We'll do it one more time through. So take a big breath just as we get ready to go back into that heel slide and let it out. Hands on your core for this one, pressing the spine into the ground for that little bit of posterior pelvic tilt. And then we're gonna straighten out one leg and pull it back in. A lot of people like to speed up the pulling back in of the leg, so make sure to keep that a nice controlled speed, not too fast. Pull back in, reach out, and pull back in. We'll do 2 more on each side. Straighten and pull, keep pushing that spine into the ground. And last one for each side. Just keep your breath going. Last one. And rest. Perfect. Alrighty, then find your way onto your side. Again, you can choose whichever one to start with. Having your knees bent either at 90 degrees or feet a little tucked in. Maybe resting your head on the ground this time as you open up and then close off. Getting a little stretch In our pec and front delt here, also a little bit of a oblique twist, opening up. And we'll do one more for this side, opening up. And very good. Just rolling over or flipping over so we can get that other side. Arms are straight out in front of you, knees are bent, hands are straight out in front of you as well. And we'll open and close. This is a really common one for one side to feel a lot tighter than the other. So just take your time with it. Notice where that natural limit is when you open up and see if over time you can get just a centimeter or an inch further. We'll do two more on this side, opening up. And last one, open and close. Perfect. Alrighty, find your way back onto your back. Take a breath as we get ready for the second time through our glute bridges. Hands are just by your side, or if you'd rather have them on your core, you can. Let's start with that little spine push into the ground for a posterior pelvic tilt. And then lift up, trying to extend the hips. Come back down. Lift up. And come back down. Make sure that your heels stay on the ground for this one. That helps you get the lift. We'll do two more, and then we're gonna hold that last one. Lift up, get ready to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower back down. Perfect. Alrighty, make your way back up to standing for our third circuit. We'll find our way back onto your mat or wherever you were standing. And we'll give you just a moment to get there. We're going back to shoulder mobility for our first exercise of our third and final circuit. And then you'll be done for the day. We're gonna have feet just about shoulder width and then go into a slightly hinged over position to start this exercise. So I have a little bit of bend in my knee so that my legs aren't locked out and my back is nice and flat, supported with my core. I'm starting with my hands just in between my legs like I'm about to hike a football, but I'm gonna raise up doing an I shape, keeping my thumbs pointing towards the ceiling and coming all the way back down. If your back didn't happen to like this, you could just do this standing and make sure not to go into an arch at your back. But if you can be bent over, just make sure that you keep the knees a little bit bent and that you pull in and tighten your core. Raising the thumbs up towards the ceiling. Arms stay close to your ears to make that I shape. We've got one more. Reach and rest. Perfect. Alrighty, our second one is going to be a single leg Romanian reach. I'll actually bring you down for this one. A little hamstring stretch like we just found in that last position. And so this time, if I'm holding on to whatever your balance support is with my right hand, I'm going to keep my left hand on the ground. So the inside leg is going to reach up as I reach my arm forward and then stand tall. I'm letting that left leg knee bend, or whichever one's on the ground, and coming back up. Make sure not to go too low with your torso. I'm not letting my shoulders get below my hips. We'll do two more for this side, reaching out like you're trying to reach your arm and leg at the same time and the same rate. Reach and rest and switch. Going on to that other side. If right leg's on the ground, left fingertips are holding on for balance. And then arm is going up as leg is lifting up and back tall. A little bit of bend in the hip and the knee to stretch into that hamstring. And we're not trying to balance here, so you can use that balance support to your full heart's content. Reach and come back up. One more time. Reach and rest. Perfect. All right, our last one, a little bit more side body work with a overhead alternating reach. But we're going to interlace your fingertips for this one, or your hands like so, and then have them be up overhead, or if you need to have your hands a little in front of your head, that's okay. And then you're going to reach and lengthen as you just gently pull on your fingertips, and then go to the other side. We're just hanging out there for a moment, trying to lengthen through that side. If we're bending towards the left, you want to reach with that right side. As we lean to the right, stretch that left side. One more time each way, reach and lengthen. And other one, reach and lengthen. And then rest. Wonderful. Alrighty, we have one more round to go with these. So we're going to make our way back to the bent over eyes, finding that slightly hinged position, a little bit of bend in your knee and your hip, starting with hands in between the legs, raising those fingertips up towards the ceiling and back down. Raising up. If you needed to have a little bit of bend in your arm, if that made it more comfortable, feel free. Keep your breathing nice and steady. Maybe exhale as you lift up and inhale as you come back down. We've got two more. Lift and lower. Last one. Lift and lower. Perfect. Then going back to our single leg Romanian reach. If I'm holding on with right hand, left leg is on the floor, and then I'm lifting as I reach and stand back up. Lifting the leg as I reach, making sure this knee does bend. That's how we get into the hamstring stretch. Good. Reach and back up. One more. Reach and back up. Perfect. Then other side, starting nice and tall, using that balance support, getting ready. And then when you're ready, we've got 5 on each side. Stand tall, stretch into that hamstring. Back up, 3 more. Reach, back up, taking your time, not rushing or using momentum, but controlling the movement. Last one. Reach and rest. Perfect. Alrighty, one more to go. Always a nice one with the side body stretching. Interlocking your fingertips, feet are together or a few inches apart, hands overhead, or as overhead as you can get them as you lean and reach, and alternate sides. If you've taken a class before, you know that we always emphasize reaching with the lean. It's not just crunching over to the side. We're thinking about lifting and reaching as we elongate that side of the body here. Reach. And other side, and we've got one more for each side, and then you're done. Reach and lengthen. Last one. And rest. Very nice. Alrighty, well, I hope you feel limbered up and ready to face your day, or maybe ready for a strength workout on your own. We're going to take a 2 week hiatus with the live classes. So feel free to repeat a previous class that you loved or maybe one that you missed. And we will see you again on April 21st. So feel free to find more information over on Instagram at Hello Strength Seniors, and we will see you next time.